Hello and welcome. This is completely new to me. I thought I would do something a little bit different. You know, this is how I want to start. I want to start doing some more videos like this, and we're going to create some things because I like making stuff. I have a few artistic skills. I'm nothing special, nothing amazing. Hopefully, you know, if I bring you guys along with this, you can also do stuff like this as well. So I've had some people ask me to make some hats for them. So I have basically, this is just with my airbrush. I just have a blank hat and then I just airbrush a design on it. We've got an Oblivion one there. I thought I'd go with a little bit of black on the cap just to break it up. It's come out quite nice. A little bit of a flare on the Oblivion logo as well to make it look like it's got a, you know, some sun hitting it or something, some sort of light. I've done a plain Wicker Man one, which has come out quite nice. It's a hard one to do, the Wicker Man logo. It's very hard. It's hard to get the, because it's all very little bits of, anyway, it's a hard one. And I've created another one of these, which someone requested, which has come out really nice. It's nice and clean and crisp, which is good. And then this one I really like. Someone requested this and I've done it, and now I'm going to have to do myself one because I think that looks super cool. Yeah, the Black Nemesis retro logo. That's a good one. This was completely white. I just sprayed it black first and then did the Nemesis logo over the top. But I think next time I'll try to mask up where the Nemesis logo is going to be, because I had to apply a lot of paint to this because the black paint was just sucking any colour I put onto it and leaving it black. So, you know, we're always learning, But for today's video, I am going to walk you through, because someone has seen one of these that I've done, my Th13teen hat, and they want something like this. So I'm going to try and replicate this as best as I can. It's never going to be like for like, because airbrushing, I'm not going to be able to match the twigs. So it'll be something like this, and I'm going to take you guys through the process with me. And today we're going to make a hat based on 13. Hope you enjoy it. This is the airbrush I'm going to be using. It is a Badger 105 Patriot. It's made in America, and I like this airbrush for doing hats because it chucks quite a lot of paint out. I have got some Iwata Neo airbrushes that I like very much as well, but they don't chuck out half as much paint as what this does. I think this is a 0.5 needle on it, and the others are 0.3s or 0.2s, I believe. But yeah, this just seems to chuck out a lot of paint, and it doesn't really clog very easily. So for hats, you could normally chuck quite a bit of paint on a hat, so this is ideal. None of my airbrushes are massively expensive. I don't spend loads of money on airbrushes. I never have. Even when I did this full time as a job, doing like motorbikes and cars and things like that, I never spent masses of money on airbrushes because I just felt like I didn't need to. I was getting this, like, the results I needed with stuff like this. Although saying that, Badger is very good quality of airbrush, and it's a little bit dirty at the moment, but you get the gist of it. So right, let's move on to the hat. So these hats, basically I bought a bag full of these. Someone in my local area was selling some, and yeah, so I thought, why not? I'd never done hats before. I thought, let's give it a go. You know, I'd done a couple of t-shirts and that, but never done any hats. So we thought, why not? We'll get ourselves a little mannequin and get some hats, and we'll give it a go. And so far, it's going quite well. With some of these hats, you get like these little imperfections and stuff, but you can just cut them off. Just because they're cheap hats, but you know. what can you honestly expect? So for my paint range, I am still experimenting with what sort of paints I want to be using on hats and fabric and stuff like that. I am going for more water-based stuff now. I used to only use solvents. That's all I ever used to use. For cars and stuff, it was just easier. It was the way I did things. But now, with this sort of stuff, I'm using water-based stuff because that's the way everything's going now. So I am using Spectratex. I actually got these from a course I did, I believe. I went on a couple of like airbrushing workshops which showed you, like, increased your skill and, you know, shown you new techniques and that sort of thing, and I got given a pack of these. But they're good. I like these Spectratex. They're good paints. I use, this is what I've been using for my hats, and they hold up really well. They are actually like fabric paints, so yeah, they're good. I like them. I can't knock them. I mean, I've worn this Th13teen hat that I've already done. I have worn this. I took this on my 2-week Caribbean trip, and I was wearing this thing in the sea, in the pool. I was going underwater with it. It was in the sun pretty much all day, every day, and the colours look good. Yeah, you can't really tell. Like, they look pretty much as good as what they did when I sprayed them, and like they just don't rub off. You can set this paint with your heat gun, which I'll show you at some point. But yeah, I can't knock the paint quality. It's fantastic. There is also Createx paints, Createx airbrush colours. These are also usable on fabric, and Createx is a massive company that they do a range of paints for all sorts of different things that you're airbrushing onto. So yeah, Createx, I highly recommend them. They are brilliant. I've used them for a long time. Various different models of their paints. Or if you like really expensive stuff, just go House of Colour. But yeah, their stuff is expensive. It is amazing, but it is really expensive. And plus, with the water-based stuff, all I have to do is to rinse stuff out is just use water. So yeah, that's proven cost effective. That is, you don't have to use solvents or anything. So let's get the airbrush hooked up and start throwing some paint around. So you're gonna have to excuse probably the camera angle, but yeah, I'm still figuring out this setup, and it will probably change as we go along and do more videos. But yeah, hopefully you can get a good view on this. And yeah, so I've got my airbrush, and we'll start by taking the little cap off the end, the little end protector. Pop that back in the case. Also need to attach my little quick release, which is a godsend if you have multiple airbrushes. Then you can just quickly take them on and off the airline if you've only got one airline like me. So when I start doing any airbrushing, I always start with just putting a little bit of either solvent or water, whatever you normally wash it out with, in first, just to help get rid of if anything's built up while you've not been using it. Just give it a quick clear out. So for the Th13teen hat, we need to, first off, we need to do this yellow bit in the middle. Because it's one of the brightest colours, we're going to hit that first and get it nice and get it as intense as we can. So if you start putting loads of colours on top of each other, they start losing that intense colour that you need. So we're going to hit the yellow first, sort of in the middle area, and then we can put a bit of green around the outside of it. Literally a few dollops. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Airbrushing is very minimal. Like literally, I might not even use all that. I like to add a little bit of reducer. This is Createx reducer, but it's a water-based paint reducer. So, and it will irritate your eyes. Don't get it in your eyes. Basically, it just helps the paint flow through the airbrush a bit easier. So literally, like 1 or 2 drops. Alright, so we want in the middle, A nice bit of intense yellow. Yes, that's it. That is the yellow bit done. And see, I've used next to nothing out of that. I mean, normally I would save what's in here, but because that is such a minimal amount, I'll literally just spray it onto a fabric because it will stop it from floating around in the air then. Right, because I'm going from a yellow to a green, and the colours, they mix, like the green's obviously going to be darker than the yellow. It won't matter if I don't completely clean my cup out before I add the green. If I was going from green to yellow, I'd have to make sure the cup was extremely clean before I put the yellow in, otherwise the green that was left in there would tinge the yellow because it's a lot lighter colour. We want just like a feathering around the edge. We don't want to go over the yellow too much. We can go around the edges just to help blend it a little bit, but the edges, yeah, we just want to make it a little bit green. Still leave a little bit of white on the top of the hat because we just want to let people know that it makes it stand out a bit better basically. I must say, by no means am I a hat painting expert. Like, there's loads of guys out there that can show you much better ways of doing this. I say I've only just started painting hats. It's something I'd never done before. So if you want to learn how to paint hats properly, then go watch some of the other guys' YouTube videos because they know a lot more than I do. I'm just sort of doing this as I do it. So right, next I have got a stencil that I have made myself. It's had a few uses. Basically all I did was I printed off Th13 logo on some paper, and yeah, that's just stuff I printed on the other side, and then just cut it out with my scalpel. All my stencils are handmade. I make them all myself with one of these. It's just literally a scalpel, and I just go through and cut it out. It is a very time consuming process. I wish I had a plotter and a cutter, but it's something I never invested in. I probably should have done, because it would have saved me a lot of time and effort when I was doing this full time. But I've always done stencils by hand, and it's never really that much of an issue for me. Right, so before I put that on, I'm just going to take my hot air gun, which is nothing special, it's just a 2000 watt hot air gun, and I am going to just help set this paint a little bit, because the paints on these paints set with heat, so all I'm going to do is apply a little bit of heat with this just to help dry it out so that the colours don't start running together basically. It just helps. Right, so I've loaded some black in. It's the airbrush. So we're going to sort of position this roughly where we want it. So we want basically the yellow bit is where the 3 wants to be. So that's sort of there. And it's going to go something like that. So all we're going to do is just position that. There's a way of doing stencils, but the only way you sort of figure it out is just by doing it yourself. You try and get it as close as you can to the object you're painting when you're doing it, but yeah. So let's get some black down. That's the main thing down. So basically we don't have to worry too much about overspray and stuff, because we can always go over this again to make it black once we're finished. So, but that's the main sort of layout of it. It doesn't matter that it's gone off a little bit there. That adds a bit of character to it. So now what we want to do is we want to start figuring out where we're going to put these like branches that go around the outside of it. gone in with some white and some brown, but you're not really going to see the brown. But the white have literally just ever so slightly highlighted some of the branches, just because it adds a bit of contrast to it. So I'm happy with that design. I don't want to put any more onto it. So what I'm going to do now is just go over the actual 13 writing again, just to really make that as jet black as I can possibly get it. Because you get slight bits of overspray from other bits that you've done. So just so it really makes it break it up a little bit and draws the eye. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It's nice. I dare say it's actually better than the first one I did. But then that's good, that means progress. So thank you so much for watching this video if you've made it this far. I'd really appreciate the comments below, whether you like this sort of video, whether you didn't. If you'd like me to go more into depth about a certain thing or ask me any questions, also please feel free to do so. And a like and subscribe would really mean the world to me. And I will see you in the next one.